to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I can't believe it's that time of year again.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Halloween, which came out in 2018, directed by David Gordon Green. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, this Halloween follows on directly from the 1978 John Carpenter movie Halloween. Laurie Strode has survived her encounter with Michael Myers that night, and Michael has been captured and incarcerated inside a psychiatric facility all this time. A group of amateur podcasters confront Michael with his mask and seem to awaken something inside of him, which sets him on a path to try to find Laurie. But she has been waiting all this time and has prepared.
This is the now fourth timeline in the Halloween franchise.
Right, okay,
You have
yeah.
the original run of movies,
Yeah.
1, 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Right, yeah, okay.
You have the H2O Resurrection
Right, yeah.
series.
Yeah.
Then you have Rob Zombie's series.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And now you have this new continuation, which is ignoring all the other movies
All the
other
others.
than John Carpenter's original.
Yeah.
There's more timelines in this film than there are in the Terminator franchise, and this one doesn't even have time travel in it.
I know. It's great, isn't it?
This was a result of, I think it's Dimension Films, eventually losing the rights to the Halloween franchise when they didn't make another film in time.
Yeah.
And so the rights kind of reverted back to Miramax, who, in conjunction with Universal and Blumhouse Pictures,
Right.
put this film together.
Nice.
But they managed to get horror maestro John Carpenter to come back and actually do the music score for the film, which
Yeah.
in a lot of horror fans' eyes kind of just was almost the stamp of approval.
Yeah, yeah,
Even though John Carpenter said he doesn't give a flying fuck about any remakes or sequels to his films,
No, he
as
just
long
wants
as
to-
he gets paid.
As long as he gets paid. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll accept my payment.
I remember seeing that this one was planned on coming out, and I wasn't really too excited about it. Obviously, we'd gone through the whole series of the Halloween movies, and they had ended badly. I remember Love Hurts playing at some point, you know, and flashbacks of all the different Michaels. And I'd wash my hands of it, but then there were talks of this new movie, and I was like, okay, let's see what we're going with. And then, you know, there were talks of Laurie coming back, being played by Jamie Lee Curtis, which I was like, okay, where are we going with this timeline? You know, and rumors where Michael is escaping from this psychiatric ward, this facility, you know, and going after Laurie again. And so I was just like, okay, what am I really expecting from this? You know, I'm wanting Michael to kill people. You know, that's what we've come for. You know, and after Rob Zombie's play at the Halloween series, you know, your violence had to be at a certain level. You know, we'd seen the darker side of Michael Myers, and so we wanted to go back there. So, you know, they had to deliver quite well. But I didn't actually want to go and see it in the cinema. You know, I was just like, I'll wait. You know, because I know what will happen is I'll rush to go see this, and everyone will be like, oh my god, it's absolutely amazing. And then I'll look at it and I'll be like, no, it's not.
Well, I went to see it the opening weekend, and
Yeah.
was part of those statistics where this is now the highest grossing Halloween film of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
It broke quite a few records, especially having, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis, who's a woman in her late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Starring in a film.
Yeah.
For the film to do so well was kind of like a big surprise.
Yeah, but I was unsure about the storyline. The fact that they were going straight off of Halloween 1.
Well, it's something that the Terminator franchise is, you know, now doing. It's something that the Alien franchise is looked at doing.
Yeah, but I've got some problems with it. Especially with this one. I would have preferred it if they just followed on from Halloween 2, because I've always said Halloween 1 and 2 work in conjunction with each other. So following on from number 2 would have made sense and abolish everyone after that. But going off the back of the first one, John Carpenter's original, you know, there's a couple of questions that I have popping up in my head that, as a fan, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But I'll get to that. Otherwise, you know, the film starts with two amateur podcasters, you know, going to the institute, which is holding Michael Myers. So, let's just get this right. 1978, Michael Myers had returned to Haddonfield after killing his sister years before. You know, he has gone to this town. He has killed 3 people, 4 if you count the mechanic that he stole the uniform off. And attempted to kill Laurie Strode and failed and was shot by Dr. Loomis and fell off the balcony. Now, like I said, first thing for me is, did he fall off the balcony and disappear and they captured him at Michael Myers' house? Or did he just fall over and Dr. Loomis just arrested him there and then?
Yeah, he kind of fell into the stretcher and was taken straight into...
That's it.
Straight into the facility.
That's it. He has been locked away all this time, and Dr. Loomis has, by this film's storyline, Dr. Loomis has been taking care of him all this time, but has recently passed away, and his protege, the guy who's worked underneath him, Dr. Ranbir Sartain, you know, he has now been in charge of him. And he has kind of made Michael his personal, you know, challenge to understand.
Yeah. But he also explains that he's absolutely useless because he's not been able to get a single thing out of Michael.
Yeah.
And so having these 2 podcasters go in to talk to him and perhaps reveal that they've got his original mask to him might actually spark something so that he can carry on with his research.
Sorry, wait. Sorry, what? Okay. What? They've got the original mask from the 1978 movie.
Yeah.
So, this murderer's mask, this evidence that the police should have under lock and key.
40 years later.
Yeah, we're talking, Michael Myers is locked in this massive, huge, you know, institute. He is under 24-hour-a-day care. They understand, and this is something I kind of enjoyed about the film and had to understand for myself, was this universe, they know Michael Myers exists. And he is a serial killer, even though technically he's only killed 4 people. I think you have to kill a lot more than that to become a serial killer. But he's only killed 4 people, and they're happy to go, oh yeah, he's not the boogeyman anymore. We're safe from him. We're not scared. Here, have his mask. Here, yeah, take that big knife covered in his sister's blood. Yeah, it's all right. We don't need it anymore.
I borrowed something from a friend at the Attorney General's office, Michael. You feel it, don't you, Michael?
The way that Aaron just kind of, it's, you know, the intensity, like I said, from what we got from the Rob Zombie movies is now portrayed in this movie with Aaron holding up the mask and just like screaming at Michael, like, talk to me! Talk, Michael! And everyone is just freaking out around them. And I'm like, that's not a good sign.
I really didn't like it at all.
No.
I was like, this is such an awful opening for Halloween.
Yeah.
And then it's from that moment that it cuts right into, you know, the Halloween film title coming up. And it's like, okay, yeah, I was just sat in the cinema just like, nah.
Right, but that's the thing. I didn't go to see it in the cinema, so when I was watching it on DVD, you know, we'd already gone through some shit.
Right, yeah.
So this one had to really hit some levels of shit before I was, you know, ready to just give it the fucking finger up, I suppose, instead of the thumbs down. But coming off the back of Rob Zombie, I was like, that's not bad. It reminds me of Rob's, you know, Halloween 1.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to get to the big pushes in the story, you know. The 2 podcasters head to Laurie, and she has been, well, preparing for this night since 1978. She's not Michael's sister. No. We're not going from Halloween 2. It's just Halloween 1. She survived the night and has been living in post-traumatic stress fear that this homicidal killer is going to escape from this institute and come after her.
Yeah, but she kind of lets the podcasters in after they promise her $3,000 payment for talking. She doesn't really give them very much before they upset her, and then she's like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's another thing. So since that night, like, everybody's interviewed Laurie.
Yeah.
You know, there must be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of case files of people talking to Laurie and questioning her about that night, and people going to see Michael. And it's like, I'm seeing these two guys. So as a new viewer, you're kind of looking at these two guys like they're the first ones to ever do this. But as an experienced Halloween watcher, you're like, fucking hell, these are the last dregs of the guys trying to question Laurie.
Yeah. I mean, it's 40 years later. It's like, who cares about this guy who murdered like 4 or 5 people?
And that's how
it's kind of almost like an urban myth. You know? Like, did it really happen?
But that's what I'm getting to, because that's how Jamie Lee Curtis kind of puts it across to me. Her performance is, oh, you're trying to dig this back up again, but she's so hot. Like, I'm gonna go up and say that, you know, to me she is absolutely hot, just sitting there as the gilf that she is, you know, and she's looking at these two guys like, you're really trying to dig this up, just get out of my house, you know, especially when they start questioning her about, you know, her as a mother and having her child taken away, and if she speaks to her granddaughter, and you're like, right, so now we've got the Strode clan, you know, Michael's gonna have multiple targets to go after now.
So yeah, I kind of liked the family setup. You know, you've got the dad who's spilling peanut butter over his penis.
He's a dead fuck.
Oh, what now?
he's a dead fuck. That guy might as well have fucking Target written on his head in a Halloween movie.
He's a real simpleton.
Yeah, he is. I'm looking at his dad like.
But I liked him, you know, I liked the mother and the daughter. I was like, you know, you feel the family kind of connection there.
Yeah, the mother's starting to become that woman for me. She keeps appearing in a lot of movies. She was the mum in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, she was in The Village. She was the mum in Ant-Man. She's a mum in a lot of films.
She's a very good actress, actually. I really like her in this.
Yeah.
And but then, you know, we get the sequence of the daughter going to school. And you get, you know, the similar shots from the original Halloween.
Yeah.
And I love the sequence where she is in school.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the teachers in the school was actually the actress who played Judy in the original Halloween.
Oh, yeah. I think she reprises the role of the teacher.
Yes.
Reenacting the same sequence that we saw in Halloween 1.
Yes, yeah.
With now Laurie playing the kind of Michael role, which I was I was right behind. You know, watching all these scenes being replicated again felt rehashing, but at the same time retelling. They're like, come on guys, you know, see all these teens, you know these motherfuckers are gonna die. We're just teasing you with all this, and you're like, okay, well, you know, we'll go with this. You know, you got the blonde girl who's happy her boyfriend's gonna come around the house later, you know, while she's babysitting. You're like, she fucking dead. You know, you got the kind of the best friend at the school who's trying to catch on to Allison, you know, and Allison's got her pretty boyfriend as well. And I'm sat there and I'm just, when I've watched it the first time, I'm just like, Halloween 5, Halloween 6. You know, I'm hoping you all get taken to a barn and, you know, Michael sipes all your heads off. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm hoping. And what I found interesting was you had the whole dynamic of Allison talking to her mum about if Laurie was going to turn up, and her mum avoids talking to Laurie. You know, there's a bit of a relationship boundary thing there going on, of like the way Laurie made her daughter grow up.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of kind of nightmarish things that a child shouldn't have gone through.
Yeah.
But Allison is still in contact with Laurie. So when we see Laurie outside the window, it's not actually creepy. It's Laurie's kind of way of saying, look, I need to speak to you. And she kind of basically just hands her $3,000 going, here you go.
Yeah. She's like, don't care what you do with it, you know, just go to Mexico, you know, just have a life.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's just really great. I was like, okay, it kind of explains why she took the money at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that she could just give it to her granddaughter. I was like, that's really nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, there is a flashback sequence where at first I wasn't really a big fan of Judy Greer's Karen character.
Right.
Until you have the flashback where you realise that Karen, you know, from a young age was trained to use rifles.
Yes.
Was forced into the dungeon.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you know what? I take it back. I was like, I have my sympathies for this character now. Who was raised by a demented mother.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like again, go back to Terminator, where John has kind of grown up, has his mother taken away from him, put in an asylum, because she was convinced of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, it's I'm sold on that. I really believe it, and you know, I also like the fact that you have the 3 generations of the Strode family.
Yeah, because it breaks the film down into multi layers at this point for me as well. Because, you know, I feel bad for, Laurie's daughter being raised that way. But I'm a realist. Michael Myers is sat in this institute and he is just waiting for his chance to escape and come after Laurie. Regardless of what kind of storyline we're pulling in this one, that is the aim for this movie. Michael Myers is coming for them. And so when Laurie finds out that he's being transferred, she's there. She's actually stalking Michael.
Yes.
She's in the car, gun in hand, drinking away. Jamie Lee Curtis is really selling me the broken Laurie story.
Yeah.
Better than she did. She kind of did it in Halloween H2O, but it's Halloween H2O. It's not the greatest movie. This one is actually selling it a bit more darker to me. And we're seeing Michael getting taken on board this bus, and I sit there like, yeah. See where this is heading, and this is where the film actually starts to really kick into third or fourth gear, where we cut to the dad and the son driving along. They're coming back from hunting, and the son's talking about how obviously he doesn't want to do it every weekend. He just kind of wants to stay at home with his friends. And the road is just filled with all of the escaped patients from the van, reminiscent of the first movie. And the dad gets out and heads out to look, see if there's anybody who needs any help. And then the son comes out, and you're sitting there thinking, they ain't gonna kill a little boy,
No. I really like the cinematography of this sequence. I really like the lighting as well. It's really quite atmospheric as he's wandering around trying to find his father, who's kind of not responding.
Yeah.
And he makes his way onto the bus, and he gets startled and kind of shoots the professor.
the doctor, yeah.
and then legs it, and of course runs back into the car, and we get that awesome shot of Michael just appearing behind him.
Yeah.
And then smashing the kid's head up against the side until he strangles him and breaks his neck.
As the film started, we were all on our hands, like, yeah, we know how this is going. And then this kid has died, and you're like, shit. And the deputy gets called up. Deputy Hawkins, played by Will Patton. Great actor. I remember him as Bruce Willis's lieutenant in Armageddon.
Right, yeah.
And he drives to the bus and finds all the escaped patients. But I love how he finds the dad. And the dad's just kind of been crushed. I'm like, fucking hell, actually, I knew Michael had already done it, but, to actually see it, you're like, okay, the film's wanting to establish that Michael is this unstoppable killing machine.
Right.
He is on the warpath.
Hawkins also kind of realizes that the doctor is still okay, even though he's got shot.
Yeah.
And that's the last we'll see of him for half the film. But in the meantime, Michael he's kind of looking for his mask. And I love the shots where you can kind of see you have the two podcasters, and you can see Michael in the background.
Yeah.
In his white coat, just walking around in the background.
The face is just fuzzed, isn't it? You just can't fully focus on it.
You just see the shape of it.
Yeah,
literally.
the shape.
Moving around. It's like, okay, yeah, I really like that. But the two of them end up, she ends up, we follow her into the restroom. And then, we have the scary sequence where we follow the boot POV as he opens each one of the stores, gets to hers.
Yeah.
Standard horror stuff, but it's done quite effectively.
It's standard horror stuff, but it's the way that we're cutting back to Aaron, and he's come across the attendants of the gas station who are dead. Michael's killed them before getting to Dana. And the way he drops the teeth into the store with Dana, you're like, what the fuck? And it's just like a little violent little fight where, Dana is trying to scramble away, and Aaron comes running in and tries to fight Michael with a crowbar. But Michael's just unstoppable and just slams his head in.
And she just kind of waits there until he's dead before she tries to escape.
Yeah. I mean, obviously fear overtaken. She doesn't know what to do. And Michael does stop her from actually getting past a couple points, to the point where he grabs her by the throat and just strangles her. It doesn't need to gouge her or rip her apart or anything major. It's just good old strangulation for Michael Myers. So I was really impressed at this point that, we're not even an hour into the movie and Michael's already killed 6 people.
Right.
and actually done it really quite well. So this movie for me had already maybe jumped up some of the rankings compared to some of the other Halloween movies. So I was forgiving it for some of the things it was attempting to do. You know, while telling the same old story.
Yeah.
You know, we're still following Alison, and she's bringing her boyfriend back to meet her family, and here comes Granny, and they all meet together. But you know, Laurie has a bit of a breakdown. Mum's telling the daughter to stay away from them, and I like just the way that Alison was this new Laurie. You know,
Yeah.
we had the old Laurie, and we kind of had Laurie's daughter, which reminded me of Danielle Harris's character back in the other ones. And it's a shame they didn't really get her back. But
there's 2 more Halloween films in the pipeline. So
Nice.
Danielle Harris might get a call yet.
that
I hope they do.
would be quite cool. But you know, Alison gets with her boyfriend, and she gets dressed up as Bonnie and Clyde, and they head off to a Halloween party. Now, as they head off, the sheriff has obviously come across the bodies of the podcasters, and is just... we start to realise he was one of the first assigned police officers to Michael the night that Michael was stopped. And I'm just like, wow, so, okay, there's a little thing. He arrested Michael.
What, from Michael's childhood? Or
No,
from
from
the Laurie?
1978.
Yeah.
You know, he was there, I suppose, and helped Loomis handcuff Michael. But it's that way he delivers the, you know, we're supposed to fear the night kind of line. You know, we'd been laughing at the boogeyman up to this point, but now the boogeyman was properly back, and we were supposed to be scared of him.
I love the guy with the big cowboy hat on. He's just like, what are you going to do? Cancel Halloween?
We're gonna have a fucking circus on our hands. But hey, what are we gonna do? Cancel Halloween?
It's like, you know, like some
Man.
corrupt mayor from Jaws.
That's exactly what I was going to say as well.
Yeah.
He's like, no, man, we need them out there. This is our 4th of July.
Right.
And then we cut to the streets of Haddonfield. You know, the kids are all walking around. They're all
You get
having
the-
a laugh.
Silver Shamrock selection of kids wearing the masks.
Yeah.
You know, I did like the, you know, a lot of the Halloween films have had callbacks to the other films. But I think this one here trumps all the other Halloween films for its callbacks and nods
Oh, yeah,
to the
yeah.
original film. But I really like the reference that they have to, is it Cameron, her boyfriend,
Right.
and his dad,
Yeah.
which is Lonnie.
Lonnie.
And Lonnie is the kid in obviously the original Halloween film. That's the bully.
Oh.
And he's the one who's outside the Myers house when Loomis shouts at him and scares him off.
Nice.
So Cameron's actually that kid's son.
Yeah.
And I was like, so, you know, it's the writers of the film, they've done a really good job of expanding the universe that the film is in.
I was worried when we kept hearing that Danny McBride was connected to this film.
He's the producer for the film and also the co-writer.
Yeah.
But I've come to really quite like Danny McBride's writing.
I am as well.
And so I'm like, I can believe that he really gave this script some punch.
Yeah, Kenny Powers
and
was behind
modernised it. That made it the way it is. But yeah, you know, also coming from the director of Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, well, this is coming from a bunch of stoner comedy action kind of guys.
Yeah, but they were fans. They watched what we watched growing up and probably had their own ideas.
From what I've gathered, they are bigger Halloween fans than us.
Yeah,
You know, 'cause
and it shows it.
Yeah.
This sequence where Michael walks the streets is probably, you know, it's the best reason to watch this film. You know, it must have been so fucking awesome to film this sequence of... I mean, it's a shame that it's not just one whole camera take. You know, there are some edits, but it's the way that Michael kind of just walks the street and then cuts down an alley, picks up a hammer, walks into a house, walks behind a woman. You just hear the squelch and smash of this hammer into the skull. You know?
Again, call back to the original Halloween, where I think it's the same woman whose house he goes into and took her knife in the original
She
film.
was in Halloween 2.
Pajamas.
She was making a
Yeah.
sandwich. Yeah. But there's a baby in there, and you see that he kind of looks, but carries on walking like. Yeah, I've got nothing to do with babies, i.e., you know, Halloween 6, you know, Sullivan.
Jamie Lee Curtis actually said that she is the voice of the screaming baby.
Really?
I was like, what?
That's just
It's
weird.
very convincing.
Yeah. But it's the way he flows into the next house and we see it from the outside and he just looks in the window.
Yeah, the silhouette.
The silhouette, the way his face appears, the way the music plays, you're like, what? You know, and then it cuts to the way that she's looking out the window and he walks behind her.
Yeah.
And yeah, CGI knife.
Yes, yeah.
But-
it was quite effective though.
Yeah,
it was because of the head smack off the side.
Yeah.
Followed by the knife shank. I was just like, it's brutal.
Threw
and
you off,
efficient.
yeah.
I kind of expected this sequence to go on longer. I was just like, I just want him to go from house to house to house, just like killing people. But we end up cutting to one of our other friends who's babysitting,
Yes.
and and we get the whole, put the kid to bed because I want my boyfriend to come over. I'm gonna get stoned.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I really like the dialogue. I really like these characters. It'd be a shame if anything happened to them.
It's like I said, it's the way the film is layered. We've got the Laurie Michael thing going on. And kind of we've got the mum and Laurie relationship thing going on, and then we've got the Allison being chased by Michael. So it's all one big Halloween movie being told from 3 different perspectives. So when I'm at the school with Allison and she's talking to her friend Mickey, at first I was a bit like, oh, this bitch is gonna die, but then I'm like, this bitch is gonna die. I've just seen like 6 people get murdered. She's next. But I really wanted her boyfriend, Allison's boyfriend, to get it as well. Like, he was a dick. He gets caught cheating on Allison. I mean, he's literally kissing, which is bad. Don't get me wrong, but she gives him shit, and he's been drinking, which obviously there's a whole relationship thing going on there, and she walks out.
I do appreciate the trope that they didn't use,
Yeah.
which was the trashy boyfriend gets murdered horribly.
Yeah.
Instead, he's just left out of the film.
Yeah, I did want him to die, but yeah, he's left out. And I like the way as well that, how do we cut communications with Alison so she doesn't know what's going on? The boyfriend throws the phone into the dip. I'm like, oh, nice. Like I said, they're really paying attention to, look, the people who are watching these films are a bit more intelligent. I question, though, we cut to Mickey and her boyfriend at the house, and they've put the little boy to bed, and he comes walking down saying that there's a guy standing outside in the hallway. When Vicky takes the little boy back up to bed and puts him and goes to check the cupboard, Michael is in the cupboard.
Yeah, he's doing the traditional boogeyman thing.
Right, he's hiding it up. So let me get this right. Michael Myers has just walked through a bunch of houses murdering people, and then just walks into this house, walks right up the stairs, and gets into the cupboard.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm just checking that's what happened, because I didn't want to be...
It's either that or he's really lost.
Yeah, like, he's
and he's like, don't want to get caught being lost, so he's like, I'll hide in here so no one's looking.
He's a ninja.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's a super fucking ninja in the dark. Like I wouldn't even go past and say that he climbed through a window on the 2nd floor, like, scaled the fucking house. But he takes out Vicky, and we cut to her boyfriend downstairs, and he grabs an even bigger kitchen knife and goes running up the stairs, and you just know he's
dead.
He's fucking dead. He did as well. So I'm like, Michael is he's on a good score at the moment,
Of course, you don't find out what happened to him until the police turn up at the scene later.
Yeah,
and they realise he's impaled to the wall with a knife.
Yeah.
And again, another callback to the original Halloween where she's kind of been buried in the ghost suit.
Yeah.
It's like, did Michael Myers do that? He's like, yeah, I remember what I did in the original film.
Yeah.
So long ago, but...
Yeah, but it molds very well, because if seeing it from a newer perspective, like if I've never seen a Halloween movie ever, that's really quite terrifying. The cop walking into the room, you're like, is he underneath the sheet?
Why has Michael done that? Is he like, yeah, I know I'm the boogeyman, I'm going to try and make a name for myself?
And he's got to call to distractions, he's a ninja. He's being hunted by Laurie, and she even wings
Well,
him.
he's not even aware that she's hunting him until this moment.
No, yeah, he sees her and she sees him, and he tries to get away.
Well, she shoots at him.
Yeah.
And realizes she has shot a reflection of him, the mirror, and and then he escapes. And the cops are also in the area, but manages to avoid him as well.
Yeah.
Completely ninjas out of there, and he ends up startling Laurie.
Yeah.
And so after their kind of little moment, we're reintroduced again to the Doctor.
Oh yeah, he's alive.
And you have that sentence that Laurie does where she it feels like she's breaking the fourth wall, where she just goes, oh, so you're the new Loomis.
I'm Michael's doctor, Ranbir Sartain.
Oh, you're the new Loomis.
It's just kind of like everyone in the cinema at the time was just kind of laughing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, we know. It's a shame that Donald Pleasance, had passed away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm pretty sure he would have had the part.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
maybe
totally.
this character wouldn't be the way that it is in this film as well, unless they went down that route with it.
Well, I found the Doctor character a bit of a mockery. I've gone through fucking the series of Halloween movies. I can spot a douche away, 10 miles away.
Well, it was the fact that Rob Zombie's version of Halloween, Loomis was a douche.
Yeah, like we've seen a lot of douches in the Halloween series, and I'm looking at Dr. Sartain, and he's just so obsessed with Michael Myers.
Doesn't he admit that he's the one who caused the accident that's let Michael out?
Yeah, but
because
but spoilers, yeah, because Alison has been walking with her friend Oscar. I didn't really care about her friends. They were all cannon fodder, really. But now that she's broken up with her boyfriend, her best boyfriend thinks that he can make his moves on her and fails miserably. And she gets really, really upset and storms away from him, which gives Michael the perfect opportunity to use motion sensor lights to ninja up to Oscar and just fuck him up, basically. He slices him, chases him to the really expensive gates that rich people have, and kind of impales his jaw onto one of the spikes for Alison to see. So then she absolutely gets freaked out and gets picked up by the deputy and Dr. Sartain. And as they're driving around, they see Michael and they attempt to hit him with the car. And the deputy's like, yeah, we got to kill him. We're going to end Michael right now. And Dr. Sartain kills the deputy.
Yeah. It's like, wow, I kind of like the Deputy Hawkins character.
I did.
Like the actor as well. And so, to see him go out in such a way, it was like, oh that's a shame.
That's the real shame. And now this doctor who has been being mocked all the way from the start of the movie is basically now going to turn around and say, hey, I'm the guy who instigated the whole crash. I want to know Michael better. And even puts his mask on.
I was going to say, he starts molesting Michael's face.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Puts the mask on and puts Michael in the back seat of the cop car with her.
This was really creepy. I liked it. I actually did, because Michael Myers and Halloween, it's really creepy. But when somebody else has Michael Myers at their kind of
mercy,
at their mercy, at their disposal, they're just going to use him and rub his face. And the way that he kind of puts him in the back with Alison as well. I'm freaking out for Alison. So Michael's going to fucking wake up and kill her. But does Michael know that Alison is Laurie's granddaughter? Does he even realise
there's no
these
real
things?
supernatural sense to this film? Otherwise, I would have immediately said, of course. He just knows.
This movie did it really quite well, I suppose. They didn't fully explain how Michael was captured or who or what's been going on with them over the last 40 odd years. Does he know about the family connection or any of that kind of stuff? It breezes all over that. We are just steadily at a really nice, not a breakneck pace, but a really nice pace, keeping Michael going.
I almost imagined, I could have imagined what the film would have been like if Laurie had spent this last 40 years kind of building this fortification in her house, kind of dealing with the fact that he might come back for her.
Yeah,
I would have loved for it if Michael would kind of saw Laurie and Laurie's just like, oh my god, the boogeyman's back, and if Michael had been like, I don't even know who you are, didn't mean a thing to him.
He wasn't even
bothered with her, wasn't even coming
Ah.
after her, and and she's just built herself up that he's coming for her when really he's just indiscriminately killing anyone he can.
And
there is no connection at all.
And he's actually going after some completely random new stranger babysitter who Laurie ends up capturing to take back to her fortification to then trap. Yeah, that would have been quite cool.
I was just like, but no, it's straight away Michael sees Laurie and it's just like, nah. Target number one.
Yeah, priority target. But he crushes the doctor. Crushes him against the car, pulls him out, retrieves his mask. And while the doctor is lying on the floor begging him to say something, like this has been the big focus point for everybody in the movie, to have Michael Myers explain to them why he does what he does. He just fucking stomps on his head.
It's one hell of a gory mess.
Yeah, but I'm like, yes, Michael, we don't need an explanation. I said this in the last bunch of Halloween movies. We didn't need an explanation of why he does what he does. He just does. And it's like, I love the callback, the fact that we got the two bumbling cops
Right.
in the police car. You know, they're like talking about sandwiches. Took me back to the squeaky shoes cops.
Yeah,
I think in
yeah.
5 or 6. And I'm like, oh man, more cannon fodder. Brilliant. We just had the doctor have his head squashed. And they see the deputy's car, which the doctor was driving. And so they're like, oh yeah, you know, that's our deputy, we'll go over. But you don't see what happens to them. I love the fact that there's a lot of kills off screen.
Yeah, quite a few. I mean, the film originally, when they finished the first draft, was 2 hours 15 minutes long.
Wow.
And so they cut, you know, more than half an hour out of the film, and a lot of that stuff was kind of in the trailers as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I love the fact that that's really worked for this movie. That, you know, we didn't need to see lots of kills. We didn't need to see that kid get staked to the wall with a knife. But seeing him in there was like, oh, that's good.
Yes.
You know, we didn't actually have to see Vicky get stabbed multiple times. We just had to hear it. And the same with these 2 cops. We didn't have to see them die. But when the car pulls up, like I told you, the dad was a douche. You know, he was a fucking meatbag on a stick. And when he stands there with all the CCTV camera, I mean, we laugh. But this guy's been married to Laurie Strode's daughter all this time. You know, we're in the universe that Michael Myers exists, and Laurie was the survivor. If I was him, first thing I would have been is round her house every fucking Sunday to clean guns and aim. Because this guy stands there holding in the gun like, what end? What end do I point this? Who did you say's coming? Michael Myers? No, we don't have to be scared of him, do we? No, I'll protect my family because I'm super dad. So as soon as the police car comes outside, what does he do? He walks outside without telling anybody.
And it's one hell of a gory mess in there where it looks like Michael's cut his face off. And
Fucking
made it like a pumpkin.
Taking another guy's head, stuck the flare in it. I'm like, yeah. And I like the way that he just kind of appears behind the dad and just
breaks his neck.
Yeah.
You're like, at least it was a clean, quick kill for the poor old dad.
Yeah. Laurie forces her daughter into the basement because Alison is still trying to actually make her way there. Yeah. You know, she's escaped from the police car, ran through the woods, which is actually really quite scary. Even though we know Michael's not actually there because we're seeing him somewhere else, I'm still like, oh my god, the visuals of her running and then getting to like the target practice range with the mannequins, that was freaky.
Hell yeah.
But she's making her way back to the house, and Laurie forces her daughter into the basement and starts to fight Michael, which, you know, pays homage back to the original film, but then also starts to bring in its own kind of unique features where Laurie has the house on lockdown. You know, she clears a room and then shuts it down with metal shutters and then moves to the next one. So she's been practicing this shit. But she gets into the room with the crazy mannequins and it's just like, you know what's going to happen. You know, he's going to lure her in one direction with the blood, and then she's going to be obviously forced to fight him from another direction, and he throws her off the balcony.
Yeah.
You know, which immediately pays homage to the first one. And I just love that image of seeing Laurie lying at the bottom and Michael stood above.
But then you get that shot where she's vanished.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, who's the hunter and who's the hunted now, Michael?
Yeah. Because Alison gets into the basement with her mum, and you know, now it's like Laurie's out of the picture. Mum has to step up, and she's been so adamant that she doesn't want to fight. You know, she's been trying to avoid all of her responsibilities or all of the stuff that her mum kind of made her go through as a kid. And Michael comes back down into the kitchen, kind of figures out that this thing in the middle is
the counter.
Is a secret mechanism, but can't work out how to activate it. So he just starts ripping at it, you know, with pure strength. And the way that the film builds up the tension sequence, the way Judy Greer can really act like she can be terrified. Like she can act as she's really scared. I've seen it a lot of times in a lot of movies and it works really, really well. So in this one, I'm like, oh man, she's the weak damsel. You know, Laurie's going to appear from a corner at some point, but she notices her rifle. And she cocks it and she loads it and she gets into position and she starts screaming for her mum. I can't do it, mum. I can't do it. I'm sorry all that time.
Yeah, it just baits Michael out.
Oh.
Michael sense weakness.
The way she just hits gotcha.
Yeah.
And shoots him right in the fucking face. You're like, oh.
But then, was it her who shot him? Or was it Laurie who was coming out of the darkness behind Michael, who's also cocking her gun?
No, it was Judy because Laurie starts to kind of fist fight him at this point, and they have
Yeah.
that brutal fucking beat down in the kitchen. It's absolutely awesome.
Well, Laurie, does she get stabbed, doesn't she?
Yeah, Laurie gets stabbed, and Michael takes a frying pan to the face.
She's already blown his fingers off with a
Oh
shotgun.
yeah, I love that little silhouette of him just with two fingers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have to use my other knife hand. But they end up trapping him back into the basement, and you realise that actually, that wasn't their panic room. It was a holding cell for him. And I was really hoping, like I said, being a fan of Halloween 2, I was hoping that they'd follow on from that story, that Michael and Laurie would be related, and the only way for them to stop, air quotes, stop Michael Myers, is to kind of do what they did with Leatherface in the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, where they lock Michael in the basement and then they just live with him. Like they're kind of like guardians now. They're guardians of Michael Myers. Like, he will never get out of this because he's only ever going to get locked up again and come after them. So why not just have him there? But they don't. They start to fill the basement up with gas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're going to blow this motherfucker out.
Yeah, she drops the flare down there, and then you see them get in the car and drive off.
Yeah, and Michael just stands there and just burns.
You see the fire, going up and all the way around him.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see the fire burning everything else, but you don't see him set on fire.
No, you don't need to.
And then in the next shot that was looking at where he was, where everything is on fire, he's gone already.
Yeah, of course he is.
I'm like, is he just Jason Voorhees kind of teleported
Super
out
ninja,
of there?
Yeah.
Like, and that was what really let me down with this
Really?
film. Yeah, because I was like, if you're going to make another Halloween film,
Yeah.
end it.
No.
Just end it.
No.
Even for Laurie, I'm just like, why are you driving away? Like, surely you want this to be over too. Like, stay there until there is a burnt corpse coming out of that basement.
I was exactly the same. I wanted her to do that too, but at the same time, I'd already kind of resigned myself to the fact that, they were going to leave it open-ended. So when I saw the gas going, I'm like, I'm not going to blow him up. I saw him blow up in number 2. I saw him die from dynamite at the end of number 4 or 5. I've seen him die a lot. So this ending, it wasn't really an ending. It was kind of more like a homage. Like, hey,
Well,
and I was just like, sweet, he's still alive.
the original plan for this film was it was going to be a 2-parter, and they were going to film it back to back. Which is why the film was as long as it was, because it was almost 2 films.
Yeah.
But then, the director and writers were just like, okay, let's just actually just make the one film.
Yeah, and just see how it goes.
And see how it goes.
Yeah.
And now, there is 2 more films planned.
But that's okay. But, they've...
I really don't think it's going to be as successful as this one was.
No, I don't. Maybe the second one... You know how sequels go, dude. The body counts are always going to be bigger. The storyline's going to be a little bit more crazier. But really, is it really for us? Are they selling it to us, or are they selling it to the new generation, and we're just trying to go see
They're
it?
selling it, because at this point I'm just like, you soulless bastards just want to make more money.
Good, because the more money I give them, the better Halloween movies they give me. I wish they did that with the same fucking Hellraiser
give me a
series.
sequel to Halloween 3.
Yeah, we kind of need
I
that.
don't need no more Mike Myers.
But imagine they say, "Oh, we're making another Halloween movie," but they haven't actually said they're doing a Michael Myers.
Well, they
Halloween
have.
movie. Oh, okay.
They said they're doing 2 more Michael Myers films.
Well, give John Carpenter more money.
So, Ian, do you have favourite scenes?
I do. I had quite a few favourite scenes for this Michael Myers fiesta. I love Jamie Lee Curtis as old Laurie, Grandma Laurie, her suffering, her sitting in the car drinking to herself, standing outside the school stalking her granddaughter, being questioned about her parenting. It made me ask a lot of questions about Laurie's life since 1978. But I didn't really want the answers, if you know what I mean. Because I wasn't going to be really happy with the answers I was going to get, because they're just answers. But I just liked seeing Jamie Lee Curtis on screen playing old Laurie. You know, she's still a really fucking great actress.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and can really tell a lot through just her emotions without even saying anything. You know, like I said, when she sat there with the two podcasters with her legs crossed, you know, just sat down on the chair. That woman's just come in from practicing target practice. You know, she's cleaned her guns at least 10 times today, and she's going to clean them 10 more times after that. Looking for Judith's grave. I love the fact that they kind of retell how she dies, but in a little bit more gorier detail, explaining how the knife, you know, severed her spine, and the fact that you do have Michael kind of stood in the trees watching. It makes you feel unsettled, which is good. It's the build-up few steps that you have in a Halloween movie. You know, knowing Michael is there, but he's waiting for nightfall.
Yeah.
He's waiting till it's dark, until he's got everything to pounce. I did love just a lot of Michael's kills. You know, Michael Myers on screen.
For me, it is a detriment to Michael Myers because I prefer Jason Voorhees' kills because they're elaborate, over the top, kind of laugh and go, "Oh my god, I can't believe he killed them like that."
yeah.
Whereas Michael Myers is kind of like, how do you
Brutal.
do? I mean, Michael Myers doesn't torment. He doesn't tease.
No.
He doesn't monologue. He just comes in and fucking kills.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, that's brutal and efficient, and there's no fucking around with it.
But just in classical form, you know, you're sat there going, that guy's just gone off screen. He's dead.
Yeah.
And you're waiting to find out. And then when you see him, you're like, whew.
He really got
He's
it.
really fucking dead. You know, all the way up to the dad. Like I said, I saw the dad character and I was like, I can't wait to see you dead. And then he died, you know, but like what you said with the boyfriend, you know, it would have been, you know, boring, you know, cliche if the boyfriend had been chasing after, maybe he'd have been chasing after Allison and got killed on the gate.
Yeah.
But they flipped it for Oscar because they're like, people won't think that we're going to kill the
Right,
best friend, but he's a dick. And my my final favorite scene is Laurie's daughter in the basement.
Yeah.
You know, Michael had just been brutal all the way up to this point, and I really thought that she was not going to be able to stand her ground. And then as soon as he pops out and she goes, "Got ya,"
Yeah, great moment.
I felt bad for Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, like you, Ian, I really appreciated the gore kills. You know, the head crush was gore-tastic. I kind of liked the bathroom brawl in the toilet cubicles.
Yeah.
I was like, it reminded me a little bit of Ken Foree, kind of Rob Zombie fighting in there.
Oh God, yeah.
And the throat stab where he walks into the woman's house and bashes her head and then the knife stab through the throat.
Yeah.
So yeah, very great kills. But for the best actual sequence, for the best performance, the scene that really made me care for the whole family was the dinner scene. Where grandmother turns up late and kind of stands there and drinks half of her wine, kind of sits down, then has the mental breakdown because she's just realised that Michael's been transferred, and all those emotions come out. But all of the characters, you really get a sense of who they are, how they care for each other, and you know, and how they're pulling in different directions. But it's for me, it was really the part of the heart of the film.
Yeah, they're like you realise the impact Michael has had on this family.
Yeah.
You know, and you're there with them because even though, you know, we can talk about timelines of different films, but you've come off the back of 1978, you've seen the brutal nature that Michael Myers is. So then when you're seeing these people go, it's not really the boogeyman.
I enjoyed her relationship with Josh Hartnett playing her son in H2O. They did that really quite well. You know, it's dated now, but that was the 20 years after the original.
Yeah.
So yeah, the modern version, or the most modern version of the film, it handled it very well.
Do you think when it's Halloween 60 years, Laurie Strode will be like in an old people's home? Getting all of the older people
So it was
together.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
He'll just be sat there and I won't be able to do anything.
Like he's walking slowly down the corridor, not because he's stalking her, because of arthritis.
He's trying to get his pills. She's taking them. It's a hard one for me to recommend.
Really?
You know, I'm kind of 50-50 on this film.
Yeah.
I think this is, it's actually a really good sequel to Halloween.
Yeah.
I just think it's really unnecessary, and it's just above average as just a modern slasher film. I love the nods to the original films. I really like the performance from Jamie Lee Curtis, who really sells you on her character. I loved the new or the updated music score from John Carpenter. I thought the kills were brutal, and some of them particularly gory. I was just really disappointed with the open ending. But I enjoyed the fight between these icons of horror.
Yeah.
I'll say that this is the best Halloween sequel, But at the same time, for me, it wasn't anything special, but it's still worth a watch.
I definitely recommend this Halloween movie. I was all set to rip it apart when it came out, and then I sat and watched it and wikied it and understood it and took it apart and put it back together and analysed it and compared it to the other movies, and I was like, yeah, you know what? That's really, really good. I've seen some shit in the Halloween series. I've seen some shit in horror movie series alone. You know, we said that these guys looked at the first movie, looked at what happened in the other movies, you know, took what worked and what didn't work, tried their own thing, did something new, you know, brought it on. If they make 2 more movies after this, brilliant. I'll watch them on DVD as well, and they probably won't be as good as this one. But maybe they won't. Maybe they'll go, oh, you know what, actually we're going to take our ideas and go to another horror series. We'll wait for another contract to run loose, and then we'll pick that up. But you could go a lot worse in the Halloween series than this movie. And if you're just looking for something to watch this Halloween, you know, October 31st, then watch Halloween 1978, and then right after, 2018.
Hell yeah. Can't go wrong with that. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Castle Halloween.